What have you been up to today anyway?
Just editing.
Editing. Wow, fucking interesting, mate.
I woke up this morning with this horrific, like, pain.
I thought you were going to say erection then. I woke up this morning with a horrific erection. I'm just going to jump straight into this one because it's so fucking funny. In the 80s, people would drunk dial Hanna-Barbera Studios because they were so upset they couldn't figure out what Barney Rubble did for a living.
Barney! Barney!
To explain, in Flintstones canon, while Fred Flintstone's job is made explicitly clear in the show's opening 10 seconds, for some inexplicable reason, what Fred's best friend and next-door neighbour Barney Rubble does for a living was never once addressed directly in a single episode of the show's original 166-episode run. To make things more confusing, Barney Rubble seems to have a nicer house and car than Fred while having a wife who is at least 3 times as fine.
You old dear.
This would suggest that Barney earns more money than Fred, even though he doesn't seem to have steady employment.
What do you mean he doesn't appear to have steady employment?
We know episode of the original Flintstones series, does Barney ever appear to have a steady job? And in episodes where he does have a job, he has it for that one episode, and then it's never mentioned again. Like in one episode he's a photographer, in another episode he's a chef, and in another episode entirely he's a secret agent.
I don't remember him being a photographer. How is he a photographer?
Well, because the show's set in the Stone Age. Don't you remember, Brad, that they have all sort of fantastical inventions in the Flintstones, mostly off the backs of animals who they abuse the absolute shit out of to make their lives easier. Like, their shower is like an elephant who they make spray water onto them. Their trash compactor is like a little creature that lives under the sink that they just throw rubbish into and it eats it.
This whole world is built on animal cruelty.
It is. The entire Flintstones universe is built off the backs of animals that are just like being abused and downtrodden at every single turn. When Fred come home from work, he did that awesome cool sliding thing down the back of that dinosaur, which looks good to us, but I bet the dinosaur don't like that. So when he goes home and his pet dinosaur locks him outside, he's like, why did it do that? Why does my pet dinosaur hate me? So, I don't know, Fred. Maybe because when you go to work, like your entire job revolves around enslavement of dinosaurs, you forced to do your bidding. Also, his house doesn't have windows. He's got a hole in the wall where his window should be. Why don't you just crawl through that?
Well, man.
Burglary must be rife in the Bedrock universe. Crime is rampant in Bedrock. One of my favourite allusions to the Flintstones universe being kind of fucked up is where Homer goes to that island in that one episode of The Simpsons. He says, if we learned anything from the Flintstones, is that pelicans make great cement mixers. And he's mixing cement in the pelican's mouth. He says, oh, are you going to say something funny like, it's a living, and the pelican just falls over dead? It's like, yeah, that's how it would work.
Oopsie.
According to David Feldman, author of the Imponderables series of books, he called up Hanna-Barbera Studios to ask what Barney did for a living to settle the debate once and for all, and was told by representatives from the studio that it wasn't uncommon for them to receive calls at 1 AM from drunk fans who were so upset that they couldn't figure out what Barney Rubble did for a living, they just had to call in and ask.
Imagine being that obsessed that you just had to find out.
My favourite part is that it happened at 1 AM and that the people who called up were drunk, which means these people were 1, watching Flintstones at 1 AM in the morning, and 2, drunk off their ass while doing so. And the fact they called up to ask what Barney did means to me they got into an argument with a spouse or a friend. Like they were sat down, like a couple having a couple of glasses of wine. Like, oh, you know what would be cute? Let's watch the Flintstones. Let's watch one of the kids' videos. So, oh yeah, that'd be fun. And then this husband and wife get into a raging fucking argument about what Barney Rubble does for a living. It's like, oh, you ever wonder what like Barney does for a living? He's got such a nice house, it never shows you. Oh, he's a photographer, isn't he? He was in that episode we watched like a couple of days ago. No, but he was a chef in that other episode. Yeah, but he's a photographer, isn't he? No, he's a chef. Honey, don't start, because I'll end this. He works as a photographer, And they have this roaring argument, and it devolves into a fist fight in their back garden, and their neighbours have to pull them apart, and they settle it, and they go get one of those big rotary phones, like, we're going to call Hanna-Barbera Studios and solve this once and for all. And they dial the number while the husband and wife are like struggling to get each other like wild animals.
In that story, the neighbour breaks them up. What are you fighting about? What Barney Rubble does for a living? Isn't he a secret agent?
And then he starts fighting, and then his wife comes in. No. This is stupid. He's a chef. And the husband goes, I told you it was. I knew you were having an affair. And then the family breaks apart, and that's how it ends. And lives are ruined, and the children are crying, and and the pictures on the fridge are getting taken down as like the dad moves out, and he's like, I fucking hate the Flintstones. And Hanna-Barbera Studios like, God, we've got to solve this now.
What?
That's what happens, Brad, when people don't know. This exact scenario happened. Don't take this away from me.
I'll never tell people off again for looking up facts on their phones. Never again. It saves marriages, Karl. It saves marriages.
This occurrence was apparently so commonplace that the security guard working the night shift who was tasked with answering the phones at Hanna-Barbera Studios would answer any calls he got by saying, I know why you're calling. Barney works in the quarry with Fred. Why don't you try calling back during business hours?
Is this like an actual quote?
Yes, that's exactly what he used to say when he answered the phone. And Hanna-Barbera Studios confirmed to David Feldman, because this happened to him. Because when he called up Hanna-Barbera Studios the first time, they weren't open. And the security guard answered the phone by saying that. So when he called up the next day to get official confirmation from a representative of the company, he said, yeah, our security guard does do that, but it is the official stance of our company that Barney Rubble worked in the quarry with Fred, even though you never actually see him doing anything there.
Imagine how creepy it would be if you did that when you were high.
Oh my God. That must have happened at least once. Like some high college students went, what did Barney do for a living? You know what'll be a laugh? Let's just call up Hanna-Barbera Studios. And they do it, and they're like stifling laughter as they do it. I'm calling him. And he does it. And the guy in a stern, authoritative voice says, I know why you're calling. Barney works at the quarry with Fred. Why don't you try calling back during business hours? And those college students freaked the fuck out. It's like, it already makes you paranoid. Imagine how paranoid you'd be calling up a business in the dead of night, thinking they're not even going to answer. And someone does answer, and he knows exactly why you're calling. Holy shit, that'd freak you the fuck out. There's probably a guy somewhere who that happened to, who told that story at parties and no one ever believed him. It's like, oh, did I tell you about the time I called up Hanna-Barbera Studios and the guy knew I was like, mate, you were stoned. That didn't happen. You're imagining. He's like, no, it did. It really did. And then his wife doesn't believe it and they have a fist fight in the park. And then it happens again. Damn it, Hanna-Barbera Studios. Why do you keep breaking up families like this?
This is why 1 in 3 marriages ends in divorce.
It is. It's all because of Barney Rubble.
Did I do good, Fred? Great. Just great.
In the live-action movie, don't they have Barney working at the quarry?
Yes, and I don't know this 100% for certain, but the rumour is that the people making the movie were equally as confused about exactly what Barney Rubble did for a living. And they called up Hanna-Barbera and like, so what does Barney do? What should we make him do in our movies? Oh, he works at the quarry with Fred. So that's what they made him do in the movie.
So, Fred, what am I going to call you now, huh? Boss? Chief?
Nah, simply Your Highness will do.
And I think it's cool that Hanna-Barbera Studios like, you know what, we never mention it in the show, but yeah, he does work at the quarry with Fred. You just don't see him ever doing anything because Fred's the main character. But what confused me is, why weren't more fans calling up like, how did Barney meet Betty? How did that go down? My current working theory is that Barney just had a massive dong. The important thing to keep in mind here though is that during the 80s people would drunk dial a cartoon they watched on TV at 1 AM because they were so upset they didn't know what the main character did for a living. I don't know about you, but my question would have been, how on earth did Barney manage to pull a woman like Betty? But that's just me.
Who was your favourite character from the Flintstones?
I was always a big fan of Bamm-Bamm.
Who was that again?
Oh, it's the one who says bam, 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 bam. It's the only thing he can say. And more recently, I've come to appreciate that character a bit more because when I was in university, there was a friend of ours who did probably one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen. Since we're talking about people doing stuff when they were drunk that they found funny. While I was in university, I played a lot of Halo 3, which I think I've mentioned in several videos now. While we were playing it once, we were all drunk off our tits and we were playing Halo 3. And our friend who was on Xbox Live at the other end of the microphone was put onto the enemy team. And what he did is he said, I'm really sorry guys, but this is happening. And from that point on, throughout the entire game, all he said into his microphone was bam, 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 bam. And while you're in the lobby, before the game starts, you can talk to the other team. All you can hear is them going, oh my God, shut up. And he's like, bam, 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 bam. Match starts, silence. We are creasing. We're running around this map looking for people, the enemy team, and every now and again, all you hear is just bam, 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 as our teammate runs by, firing his machine gun into the air, and gets shot by us, because he's just running it to our team to feed us kills. And every now and again, you'd bump into the enemy team, you could hear them on the microphone like, dude, will you shut up? And in the background of their microphone, you can hear him going, bam, 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 bam. And he did it the entire match. And then it's just every now and again, it'd be silence. And you just hear through walls, bam, 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 bam. And then through everyone's like, we could not stop laughing. And when the match ended, because we won obviously, because they couldn't do anything, because he was just running at our team, feeding us kills, like grabbing the power weapons, walking into our base, dying, letting us take it, and then like gun-butting his own team in the back of the head, all while going bam, 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 bam. And we still talk about that now because it was so fucking funny. When we all meet up and have a drink, the guy gets really sheepish and be like, it was pretty funny though, wasn't it?